Here's a harsh truth. Modern education is not about wisdom. It's about survival. Since childhood, we've been told,
Study hard, get a degree, secure your future.
but look around. People with degrees are drowning in student loans. People with degrees are working jobs they secretly hate. And some people with degrees are back at home in their parents' basement, typing how to be happy into Google at 2 a.m.
Hey, I graduated with a 4.0 GPA, so why am I still crying in the Starbucks bathroom during my lunch break?
That's the problem, Mikey. Your GPA doesn't protect you from reality. Your diploma can't tuck you in at night and whisper, everything's going to be okay. Because here's the uncomfortable reality. There are two types of education. The one society sells you, and the one your soul actually needs. One trains you to chase a paycheck. The other trains you to face life. And if you can't tell the difference, you'll spend your best years collecting certificates, while quietly feeling empty inside.
Uh-oh, I think I signed up for the wrong class.
So let's start with the kind of education most of us know too well. The one that eats up your childhood, drains your bank account, and leaves you with a fancy piece of paper, but very little peace of mind. Part 1. Education that sells. This is the education we all know too well. Schools, universities, tests, and diplomas. It comes with a price tag, and it's sold as the golden ticket to success. But here's the harsh truth. It wasn't designed to make you wise. It was designed to make you useful. Useful for companies. Useful for industries. Useful for a system that runs on labor. Think about it. Schools reward memorization, not imagination. They punish mistakes instead of teaching from them. They prepare you to follow schedules, obey authority, and wait for permission. It's not education. That's employee training.
Wait, you mean all those years of raising my hand before going to the bathroom were just practice for asking my boss if I can take lunch at 1 instead of 12:30?
Exactly, Mikey. The system wasn't built to raise thinkers. It was built to raise workers. And that's why so many graduates feel lost after school. They collected degrees but never collected wisdom. They memorized facts but never learned how to question them. Take Sarah, a straight A student. She did everything right, studied hard, graduated top of her class, and landed a corporate job at 23. On paper, she was a success story. But 2 years later, she's burned out, anxious, and quietly asking herself, is this really what life is about? Sarah learned how to ace exams, but nobody ever taught her how to handle failure. She knew formulas and theories, but never how to manage fear or purpose or relationships. And that's the painful truth about education that sells. It gives you just enough skills to survive in the market, but leaves you starving for meaning in life.
So you're telling me my degree makes me marketable but miserable?
But here's the thing. While this system can train you to get a job, it rarely trains you to handle life. And that's where the second kind of education comes in, the one no university can sell you, but everyone desperately needs. Part 2, education that helps.
Wait, so you're saying my emotional meltdown 101 wasn't on the syllabus?
This second kind of education doesn't come with a certificate. You won't find it printed on fancy paper. But it's the education that actually nourishes your mind, strengthens your character, and gives you tools to survive when life gets messy.
Okay, can I at least get extra credit for learning how to not text my ex at 2 a.m.?
Actually, Mikey, yes, that's self-control. That's part of education that helps. Take Marcus, a brilliant computer science grad. He knew 10 programming languages, but the moment his startup failed, he spiraled into depression. Why? Because while he mastered code, he never mastered resilience. Now compare him to Maria, who never finished college. She worked small jobs, but she had grit. When life knocked her down, she got back up. She learned from failure, built emotional intelligence, and eventually started her own business. That's the difference. The first had technical education. The second had life education. And in the long run, it was Maria who thrived.
Wait, so you're telling me Maria, the girl who skipped half of high school, is out there winning, while I'm still crying over my group project grade from 2012?
Exactly, Mikey. Education that helps doesn't care about your resume. It cares about your resilience. This type of education isn't taught in classrooms. It's taught by failure, by reflection, by deep conversations, by the books you read because you want to, not because you have to. And here's the harsh truth: it's the only education that actually sticks with you when life falls apart. Part 3: The Clash Between the Two. Now, here's where it gets interesting. Society keeps glorifying the first type of education because it looks good on paper. But when real life hits, it's the second type that actually saves you. And that creates a clash, a dangerous gap between what we're taught and what we truly need.
Clash? You mean like midterms versus my social life?
Here's the harsh truth: society celebrates education that sells because it's easy to measure. You can frame a diploma and hang it on your wall. You can put your GPA on your resume. Your parents can brag about your MBA at Thanksgiving dinner. But education that helps, it's invisible. There's no GPA for resilience, no diploma in wisdom, no scholarship for self awareness. And that's exactly why most people ignore it until life forces them to learn it.
Okay, but if they did grade resilience, I'd probably get a solid C minus.
During the 2008 recession, thousands of degree holders lost their jobs overnight. Some of them had Ivy League diplomas, but no coping skills. They spiraled into depression, blaming the system, waiting for rescue. Meanwhile, others who had less formal education, but more adaptability, found ways to pivot. They learned new skills, started small businesses, took risks. They didn't just survive, some even thrived. That's the clash. One kind of education makes you look successful on paper. The other kind actually makes you successful in reality.
So, my $80,000 paper degree can't even pay my rent?
Exactly, Mikey. A diploma can open a door, but only wisdom can stop you from walking straight into a wall. And here's the kicker: the more society pushes the education that sells, the more people quietly feel like something is missing. They followed the rules, they passed the tests, but they never learned how to handle themselves. That's the clash between what we're taught and what we really need. So, if the second kind of education is the one that actually helps us live, why do we keep chasing the first one? Why do we keep collecting degrees like Pokemon cards, even when we know they won't fulfill us? The answer is simple, but uncomfortable. Part 4: The Comfort Trap. Here's the truth: chasing education that sells feels safe. It gives you a path, a structure, a checklist. Get the grades, pass the exams, collect the diploma. You don't have to think about who you are or what you want or what actually makes life meaningful. Because those questions, they're terrifying.
Yeah, I'd rather memorize 200 pages of economics than answer the question, what do you really want in life?
Exactly, Mikey. Education that sells is so addictive. It gives the illusion of progress. You feel like you're moving forward, like even if you're running in circles. But deep down, most people know it. They know something's missing. They know all the grades in the world won't answer the bigger questions. Who am I? What do I value? How do I want to live? So step 1 of real education: stop hiding behind PowerPoint slides. Start facing. Part 5: rebuilding education for yourself. But here's the good news: you don't have to choose between one kind of education or the other. You can rebuild education for yourself by combining the skills that sell with the wisdom that actually helps.
Sweet, step one of my new curriculum. How not to panic when my Wi-Fi drops during Netflix.
That's the spirit, Mikey. Because real education is not something society hands you. It's something you build. Here's how you do it: read deeply, not just textbooks, but books that expand your perspective. Philosophy, psychology, history, spirituality, the subjects that teach you how to live. Learn from failure. I don't hide from mistakes. Let them shape you. Observe yourself. Notice your thoughts, habits, emotions. Self-awareness is the foundation of wisdom. Seek mentors and conversations, not just teachers who grade you, but people who challenge how you think. Create your own life curriculum. Ask, what do I actually need to learn to live a meaningful life? The point is, once you take control of your education, you stop being a product of the system. You become a creator of your own mind.